Learning a new language is interesting. Now, this case, interesting is modifying learning. Now, notice that learning is a gerund. It's a verb to learn. We've added ing to it, and it became a noun. So we have a verb that we've turned into an adjective modifying a noun, which is a verb we turned into a noun. And we're going to do the same thing here. Oh, another mistake. I'm sorry. Scratch out interesting and put in exciting. Okay? That's what I meant to type. I was thinking of something else. So, traveling to a different country is exciting. So we've taken the verb to excite, we've added ing to it, and we're using exciting as an adjective to modify the noun traveling. And we've taken the verb to travel, added ing to it, it became a noun. So we have a verb form that we turned into an adjective, modifying a verb form that we've turned into a noun. So we use oftentimes we use participles to make adjectives, and we can use participles to make nouns. If we're using the participle as an adjective, as a modifier of nouns, then if it ends in ed, it's describing a feeling. If it ends in ing, it's describing a person or a thing. Okay? Want to practice that? Let's practice that. Pardon me?
Gerund and participle is the same thing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Gerund and participle is the same thing.
No. Well, a participle is a form, is a verb form. You know, like walk, walked, walking. Now, a participle can be used as an adjective, as we just saw right now, or it can be used as a noun. But when we use a participle as a noun, we call it a gerund. Okay? Walking is good for your health. Walking is a participle that we're using as a noun, so we call that a gerund. But if we said, over there is the walking man. Walking is describing man, and so in that case we call it we call the participle just a participle. So if we use the participle as an adjective, we call it an adjective. If we use the participle as a noun, we call it a gerund. Okay? So we're going to look at page 100. And we're going to, you can see what we're doing here. We're going to turn the second sentence. In the second sentence, we're going to use a participle as an adjective. We're going to use a participle as an adjective, but we'll have to decide whether it's going to have an ed on the end of it, or whether it's going to have an ing on the end of it. If it has an ed on it, then we're describing a feeling. If it has an ing on it, we're describing a person or a thing. So, I'll do the first one. I heard that Juan and his friends went to a party after work. How was the party? It was really exciting, because exciting is modifying party. Juan, J-U-A-N, that's a Spanish name, And in Spanish, the J is silent. You don't pronounce the J. In English, the J is pronounced. So Juan is Spanish for the English name John. It's the same name as John. John. In Mexico or Spain, and other places where they speak Spanish, all over South America, for example, they speak Spanish, and you would say Juan. Juan. Yeah. So let's try number 2. You want to start? And we'll go around this way. Okay?
How did John feel the next day at work? He was exhausted.
Exhausted. Yeah. How did Juan feel the next day at work? He was exhausted. That word is pronounced X. You say X, and then the next syllable is zaw, exhausted, exhausted, exhausted. Okay, and we use the participle form that had the ed on it because we're describing how he felt. How he felt. So then, Chop, you would do number 3 for us.
Normally, he had to work. He had to work from 9:30 to 6:30. This was a tiring day.
Correct. It was a tiring day. Tiring. The I is pronounced long. Tiring. 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 It was a tiring day, and we use the ing form because the participle is modifying day. So we're modifying a thing, so we're going to use the ing form of the participle. Toy, you would do number
That's
4.
one. Usually start working at 9:30. No, he overslept. He was shocked that he didn't hear the alarm clock.
Correct.
Feel shocked.
Shocked with the ed because we're describing how he felt. He overslept. Alarm didn't wake him up, and he was shocked. He was, you know what I mean by shocked. He was surprised. He was upset. Let's see. So Tim, number 5.
How did his boss react when he showed up late? He was irritated.
His boss was irritated. 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 I'll do it again slowly. Irritated. Irritated. And then we blend it all together. Irritated. But we use the ed form because we're describing how he felt, how the boss felt. Nat, would you do number 6?
What did his boss say to him? He told him that he was disappointed in him.
Correct. Disappointed with the ed because disappointed is referring to the boss. And it's describing how the boss felt. It described how the boss was felt. So we're going to add ed. He told Juan that he was disappointed in him. So number 7.
Jen did have a good day. I guess what did he do later that night? He sat home and had a really night in front of the TV.
That's correct. Yeah, we used the ing form of the verb because relaxing is describing a night. So we're using the verb relax as a modifier to describe the night that he had. So we're going to say relaxing. So I will read, Juan, remember in Spanish we don't pronounce the J, Juan didn't have a good day. What did he do later that night? He stayed home and had a relaxing night in front of the TV. Now, here's another thing to kind of remember, and it only comes with practice, is punctuation marks at the end of the sentence are kind of important when we read and when we speak, because when you're asking a question, when you're asking a question, you sort of raise your pitch, your tone a little bit at the end. You know, in Thai, it's very important to know the pitch of the word. It's less important in English because context, the order of the words in a sentence is more important. But sometimes pitch is important in English, and it's especially important to tell the listener whether you're asking a question or making a statement. So I would say, what did he do later that night? See how what did he do later that night? And so with a question at the end, you kind of raise the pitch just a little, not a lot. I don't say, what did he do later that night? No, just what did he do later that night? And because when you speak, you can't see punctuation marks. So by raising your voice